Because remember, first off, this socially constructed bullshit that we created, it gave them a choice. That's the only reason they're behaving. So turn this place into Israel. Turn this place into what that whole region looks like right now. And
We didn't ask for that now.
no, I'm just saying they don't have a choice in that type of post-apocalyptic world. You got to understand, like, just take away some of these social constructs. Some women in America have only ever known this construct. This shit isn't actually real. That's what I tell people all the time. It's a utopia we created with phony laws. Like literally, one day, some of the people in jail are gonna wake up feeling really upset. They'd be like, "Man, all this shit is made up. This shit ain't even. I let them jail me and put me behind bars for some made up ass rules and guidelines, right?" So what nature dictates is that no, they don't really have a choice because the women that are the most unruly, most uncooperative, all of that, they tend not to get married. And then they get into the older age and they start to realize that, oh, this shit wasn't about me at all. It's about survival. It's about making sure my children and the legacy that we put out. Because remember, even though a lot of them aren't getting married, they still have kids. So put your kids in competition with the other kids, and where will their kids line up, right? So they'll start to say, well, shit, all I had to do was attach myself to such and such who got his shit together, because for all these women that get with had to have baby daddies that ain't shit, I bet you they also know one dude they passed up that take care of his family, that dude that did the shit the right way. So they'll finally, if the, like Chan said, that spot opens up, they'll be like, damn, I
So
should have did it the whole time, and this shit open up now. Let me go ahead and get in there.
I to HD point earlier, I think that my understanding of this, the concept that you described was, if two can't become one, then they can't move forward, right? If you ever hear me talk about relationships, that's kind of what I'm embodying that's what I envision when I'm speaking about that. I'm saying that if there's no clear like person that she could look up to, or that's a leader of that relationship, then you will always run into that. And that may be why there's so many divorces currently, because not all men see themselves as a leader. And in not seeing yourself as one, it lends credence for the relationship to turn out in a place where y'all meet a fork in the road and go in separate directions. But the way that I like live my life is one in where it's agreed upon leadership, but it's clear leadership, and the it would go in the direction that it needs to go for the benefit of the family. And that's whereas we one unit. So it would take the reframing of the ones, because Shan brought the perfect point up when she was talking about it's people competing for one spot, so it creates a false scarcity mindset, and then you have all these issues that we have. But with those two concepts of it not being a scarcity mindset and understanding what leadership actually is, and moving in that spirit, I do not think it would be it's not a real problem. It's not a real problem.
And you know what else it does too? Let's just say if hypothetically, well, you are married, but hypothetical situation. If Marcus is married, right? And Marcus is looking for another wife, it shows me like, hey, I know he's not cheating on his wife. He's literally looking for another wife. So he's dating with intent. So that kind of gives a woman peace of mind. Like, I'm not being played with here. Like, he's really moving to marry. Because a lot of women too, sometimes you don't, men, let's just be honest, they don't be going in with no intent. Their intent is to sleep with you and then maybe I'll fall in love with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of them are like, I'm looking for my wife. Like, but he's definitely like that's far few in between. But I think that also gives a woman, like going back to my original point, I get that gives a woman the clarity that, like, look, he already has a wife. His wife is considered cheating if he's just playing with me. But if he is really dating me to, marry, that's okay. Am I making sense?
No, not at all.
Okay, so listen. The
Why
problem with
we
dating,
understand?
let me try it another angle. Okay, y'all gotta remember it is 1:10 in the morning, and I had to
I
go to
know.
work
I know.
today. Okay, so listen. Let me just say this. You have men, a lot of them, who don't date with intent, right?
Yeah, I agree.
They're playing with women. When you meet a man, let's just say polygamy is legal. When you meet a man who is married, His wife is only going to tolerate him looking for another wife, not a playmate. You understand what I'm saying? Because then that will be cheating. So we can think, I mean, we can go in thinking like, okay, he's not here to play. He's intentionally dating. So that gets me to thinking, okay, I can take him serious because I know that he's really looking for another wife. Does that make sense?
I can mansplain it for you. Trigger Mike, all she's saying is if he outside with already and he's already married and he's not trying to cheat, then he'll more than likely be looking for another wife. It was that simple. It was that simple.
See,
Cheers,
what
Marcus.
I'm having a trouble
Yeah.
reconciling and what I'm having a trouble like making sense of, like, I know it's a natural thought process to want multiple women, right? I don't have a thought process or I don't have any confusion about that. My question is if it's about multiple marriages. That is my thought process, because of the simple fact, even if you like, not everybody doesn't believe in the Bible, that's fine. But like, even a lot of the brothers in the Bible, like they had like handmaidens, like they had like concubines, they had extra women, but all of those women want their wives. It was maid servants. That was the term.
But that was like the Old Testament, right?
Yeah, even so. I mean, the simple fact of the matter is still like we still like overwhelmingly still want or still have multiple women. It's just sometimes we don't have multiple wives.
That's
And
what I'm
even in
saying.
the examples of multiple
That's where we
wives,
exist
like,
right now.
I know, but even in the example of we're talking about multiple wives, right? The examples that Shan gave earlier, like those are very real examples that happen even in the Bible, right? You talk about what? What's his
Come on,
name?
get it right. You can't go grab your Bible. Don't get it wrong.
Jacob.
Take your
Right?
time.
When we talk about Jacob and the two wives that he had, right? There was one he really loved, and there's the one that he had because it was a rule. You couldn't have the one that you want because you need to deal with this one first, right? Cool, fantastic. He had all these kids with the one that he didn't want, but for the one that he did have, he treated them especially different. It's very easy
That's wrong.
to
Because the
look at.
Bible told me so. And listen, it was in the
That
Bible.
doing
Don't
that
tell
is
God
wrong.
he wrong.
No, I
No, it's not
understand
God.
that you're saying that is wrong. But the thing is you're trying to expect people who be peopling,
People
who do
in
what they want when they
people
feel
be
like it
Marcus,
sometimes.
you have to understand
Like,
everybody is not like you. I think that you are personally set up to be a man in a polygamous relationship. I do. I think that you got this thing down to
I
a pat.
mean,
I think that your personality is great for it. I do believe that a person who enters in as a second person in a relationship would not be treated any different than your first wife. I get that. Every man ain't you, Marcus. Most of the time, you on here fighting against dudes. Every week, you fighting against a dude's thoughts. So we know men aren't like you, okay? So with that being said, you keep thinking, and I get it because you're showing us that we're seeing that this is the type of man who should be in a polygamous relationship. But unfortunately, when you open the doors, sometimes and you open the doors and you say it's just legal, you're gonna. We have to think of the men who are not going to be like you. They're not going to do their research. They're not going to do it right. They're going to be just like Jacob. You know, there are those guys because polygamy is good for men like Marcus. It's going to be legal for anybody, and that's when it starts getting screwed up, just like it's screwed up now in the dating market.
I 100% agree with you. I just think that I don't think it should be illegal, right? So I agree with you that people should not be engaged in this. No, you're right. I mean, you're right. I agree with you.
Maybe a polygamy a certificate. Maybe you should have school for. I don't know.
Yeah, like I think we need relationship school. You know what? They should have added. They needed de-escalation within school. Like, how about that? We needed because there's no way we as adults don't know how to speak to each other and calm down. You know what I'm saying? That is crazy. Like when you really think about it, I'm teaching my children now how to do that. You got to manage your emotions, manage your expectations, understand you can't say hurtful things. What you're doing is hurtful. Come on, let's calm it down. Let's bring it. There's no way grown people can't do that. That's crazy to me.
And let's just think about it this way. Imagine me being in a relationship with a man, right? And then he brings this toxic chick. She gonna get on my nerves too. She ain't just getting on your nerves, she getting on mine too. Like, I want peace. I know I talk a lot, but I'm not toxic. I just, but she coming in with the drama, throwing stuff like yelling, like, can you bring it down like 5 notches, please? Like, that's gonna mess my world up too. So it's not just the men who will have to get it right, it will be the women who will have to get it right as well. That's all I'm saying.
The men would lead the women into getting it right, but he would avoid somebody that's that toxic.
Some women don't follow.